Hello everybody, my name is Ratnos and welcome to another War Within stuff you can do video thing during these first few weeks where there's kind of not too much to do aside from level characters or whatever you want, chase any cool cosmetics or mounts or whatever that you want, unlock the earthen, do the campaign. I figure in this video though it would be good to talk about the things that I have been discovering or using my time on. It's worth noting that almost everything in this video I would describe as a low value use of your time. The only reason it's worth doing is that there's not anything higher value that you could be doing with your time in game, but there is potentially outside of the game. You know, if you've got anything to do in real life that you could do this week instead of next week, that's probably better than almost anything in this video. So first off, one consideration I would say is there is PvP gear. So starting next week, we think you can probably buy champion track gear for Conquest, and then you can socket it using this bad boy, the Vicious Jeweler's setting, which costs you either like 10,000 honor and a bunch of gold, or 15,000 honor if you want to use your honor to buy the material that you could also buy with gold. But there is another way to earn the Vicious Jeweler's setting, which I will reveal to you now. Every 6 hours, so at 2 p.m., 8 p.m., 2 a.m., and 8 a.m. Pacific, at least on the NA servers, I don't know if it's also those times on the EU servers, if you have war mode on, one of the 4 zones in the PvP areas in the zone, so that's here for Isle of Dorn, that's here in the Ringing Deeps, that's here in Ajkahet, and if it tries to spawn in Hallowfall, it's actually bugged. I think it would be here, but it just doesn't spawn, so 1 out of 4 chance that it just doesn't spawn every time it tries to. There will be a treasure chest. That treasure chest starts spawning on the top of the hour, and then like 3 minutes later, it's actually clickable, and the first 5 people to loot it get a Vicious Jeweler's setting. So I've gotten 2 of those now. I've got one on 2 different characters, and that potentially can save you a bunch of honor if you want to get one of these things. And then you can use this next week, if you earn some Conquest next week, to get a socketed piece of champion track gear. There's a lot of hoops to jump through for not an awful lot of reward, it's worth mentioning, right? Like, you can get champion track gear from Bountiful Delves next week, from Mythic Plus, easily. You can get Hero Track from Mythic Plus starting on the 17th, so the week after, but still. You can get Champion Track and Hero Track from the Raid on Normal and Heroic, respectively, starting next week. So, is this huge? No. Is this something? Yeah, it's something, so I've been doing it. There's also been the Darkmoon Fair that's come out that's active right now, in addition to a rep bonus that you can get by sitting on the carousel. You can also buy Darkmoon hats that let you get that rep bonus out in the world when you click it. Until the Darkmoon Fair is over, so it doesn't let you carry it over until the end of the Darkmoon Fair, or after the Darkmoon Fair. And there's also profession, knowledge, and skill points available from Darkmoon Fair Profession Quest, so if you're interested in that sort of thing, that is a good use of your time. Other things that I've found, so rep-wise, once you hit Renown 12 with Hallowfall, there is a bunch of extra one-time rep that you can get through this Life on the Farm thing. So once I hit Renown 12, I did this. I'll link this in the description as well, this Wowhead post. Another thing, there is rep from Bountiful Delves. And the way it works is that when you finish a Bountiful Delve, if you use your key, you can get 1,100 rep, which does scale with Darkmoon Fair buff, for each faction, randomly, once per account, and it's not weekly, it's a one-time thing. But it picks randomly, and it can try and pick a faction that you've already picked, and in that case, it just doesn't give you anything. So the first Bountiful Delve you do when you use a key on will definitely give you rep. Everyone after that is RNG until you've gotten all 4. If you want to do this, you could do this on alts that you don't care about using the keys on. Mains, in theory, should be saving their keys till Heroic Week, because on Heroic Week you can get Champ Track gear for all your coffer keys, right? And that's pretty good. That's the best thing you can be doing during Normal and Heroic Week, pretty much, and it actually gives you a really good Great Vault for the following week. So saving your keys on main characters is pretty good. But if you really want to min-max rep, in theory, the best thing to do would be to do these on your alts this week with the Darkmoon Fair buff, so that you get the extra, 110 rep or whatever. So, again, we're talking about some small potatoes min-max here if you want, but there's also a script here if you've done some Bountiful Delves and you're not sure which reps you've gotten. There's a script in this Wowhead post, which again will be linked in the description below, that you can just type this in and it'll put in your chat box which reps you still haven't gotten from these Bountiful Delves. So that's another thing you can be doing. Other thing to note is that one of the 4 zones every day will have orbs floating in it. Today, at the time of recording this, it's in Hallowfall. Haters will say I should have recorded this in Hallowfall so that I could show you what these look like, but they're basically just floating azurite orb things. You can fly through them for 1 resonance crystal and 1.5 on average weathered crests. So if you want a bunch of weathered crests, but you don't want to do content, then that's the best way to do it. Just go to whichever zone has the floating Orbies that day and fly through them until you get all the weathered crests that you want. Because besides that, there's really not too much else going on this week besides whatever you want. If you want to farm, there's a cool mount in Isle of Dorn, Alunira, that you have to get 10 crackling shards from just farming mobs on Isle of Dorn. Very cool mount. It could be something you might be interested in. You farm rep from rares and stuff. You can do professions. Professions are a great use of your time if you, they'll last you through the whole expansion. So getting knowledge, getting your stuff crafted, getting your profession tools crafted, very good idea. I'll link again these week auras that kind of track things you can do, like weekly tasks or whatever, profession stuff. I'll link those in the description of this video as well, but I'll show you real quick as well. I made a little checklist of things that I want to get done by the end of the week, and you may want to steal some or all of these things as well. So the first thing on this list is both 34 slot bags. In Hallowfall, there is a treasure here that lets you get a 34 slot bag, and in the Ringing Deeps, it's down here. There's a vending machine, and you have to click the 3rd, 4th, 1st, and 2nd in that order buttons, and then you can loot the vending machine and get another bag out of that. So getting those on all my characters is something that I'm doing because why not? I don't know. This is something to do. Getting all my profession equipment, either crafted blue profession equipment or auction house green profession equipment, depending on the character, depending on how much acuity I have. Getting my 584 necklace from Hallowfall 11, I believe, Renown. 584 trinket from Severed Threads, something, I forget what number Severed Threads rep that is. Severed Threads 11 as well. So the way that works is this trinket is veteran track. You can get fragrances into it, so if you want this thing, I'm not sure it's a great trinket. It's mostly just eye level. It makes other trinkets cheaper to upgrade, potentially. If you want to upgrade some dungeon trinkets. I don't know. If you've already got better trinkets, not something you need to worry about, but you can put in 2 secondary stats into it by getting these fragrances, which you buy in the Nerubian City place. And you just look up the Wowhead page of this item and go into the comments if you want some waypoints for all the different stats that you can buy for it. And yeah, it doesn't actually give you any primary stat until it procs, and then you need to notice the pheromones and run into them. So if that sounds like something you're not going to do, then this trinket's probably pretty bad, but it might be still good for item level. All rep rewards claim, just talk to all the vendors and get all of the crests that they give you at the different rep points. Cloaks and banners returned. I put a bunch of teleport cloaks and rep XP banners in my character's bags to level with. I want to put those back, get the bag space bought free. Veteran gear bought from all the vendors, right? So this is helmet, shoulders, chest piece, bought from all the vendors that sell them. That's something, I guess my DK has done that. Darkmoon Fair Professions, Kedge knowledge. Again, there's knowledge you can buy with Kedge in the city. If you have this Weak Aura Muse, Weak Aura, it will list that as well as something that you can go and get. If you have some extra Kedge, you can go get a bunch of knowledge for... it's a very good deal, so I do recommend doing that if you care about your professions. Clean bags, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm probably going to check this, and you're probably not going to like it. My bags have been in a bit of a state. I put on the Better Bags add-on. Last week I didn't have an add-on for my bags, and you guys yelled at me. But you can see there's still, there's still a little bit of a mess happening here, but I'm sure I'll clean that out before next week. I've still got 11 free bag spaces, so that's plenty, probably. Campaign done. So this is actually potentially a great use of your time for any character that you care about, is finishing the campaign, because historically there has been a, like, kill Fyrakk for an Enchanted Worm's Crest, kill Sarkareth for an Enchanted Worm's Crest, kill Razagath for Primal Infusion was what they called it back then. So the odds that there will be a kill Ansarek for an Enchanted Runed Crest is pretty high, and in the past that's been gated behind being up to date with the campaign. So I want to do that on all my characters just so that I can have that quest if I, so that I can get that Runed Crest and not do any of the campaign next week when my time will be more valuable, or the week after that when my time will be even valuabler. So that's a fun thing you can do, fun thing on all your characters if you want. And then just craft and enchant all my gear so that I'm up to 590 and not. I still got some garbage on this character and my other characters are worse, but I'll have that sorted out before the end of the week. That's a problem for future me to deal with, like over the weekend or something. Anyways, that is everything I could think of for this video. Yeah, let me know in the comments what stuff you've been finding. What kind of, if there's anything, cool with your time. I feel there have been some comments below my videos in this series, I'm not trying to take a critical tone to the fact that there's not too much for me to do in the expansion at this point. Obviously, I've played this game a lot, and I think it's good that this has had a slower pace for launch. So there's definitely a lot of other stuff you can do as well. This is a video focused on things that are potentially minor optimizations, but again, there are a bunch of cool mounts you can go and chase and try and collect. A bunch of side things like that you can go and be doing with your time now. Or you can also still just be leveling characters, taking your time doing that kind of stuff. So if you're doing that, that's great. Don't feel any rush to get to max level this week to do any of the stuff that I've talked about in this video, because all of it is, even like that PvP socket thing, almost certainly it's not irrelevant, but it's pretty close. It's not something that you need to worry about doing unless you are somebody you're sitting at your computer right now and you're like, I wish there was something I could do in WoW. This video is trying to do the best I can to give an answer to people that are in that spot, but either way, we'll have a lot of stuff to do come next week. So hope you've enjoyed this video. Probably the last one in this series. Starting next week and starting later, we'll be moving into the regularly scheduled raid content, maybe some tier list content, maybe some guide content. I'm going to try and do a Heroic Ansarek video early into Heroic Week, so look out for that. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.